the sprinkler pipe and head over the electrical panel, and the sprinkler mains interfering with clear access to the room are likely code violations. The National Electrical Code requires that electrical equipment be kept free from physical damage. Sprinkler pipes and heads can damage electrical equipment if they leak or burst. Therefore, sprinkler pipes and heads must be installed at least 18 inches away from electrical equipment. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment be accessible for inspection and maintenance. Sprinkler mains can block access to electrical equipment if they are not properly installed. Therefore, sprinkler mains must be installed in a way that does not interfere with access to electrical equipment. These code violations could be a safety hazard and should be corrected as soon as possible. Maintaining proper clearance around electrical equipment is crucial for safety and compliance with the National Electrical Code. The code aims to prevent accidental contact with energized parts and to ensure that electrical equipment can operate safely without overheating or being damaged by external factors. Firstly, consider the physical damage aspect. Sprinkler systems, while vital for fire suppression, pose a risk to electrical equipment due to the potential for leaks or bursts. Water and electricity do not mix, and any contact can lead to short circuits, equipment failure, or even electrical shock. The 18-inch clearance requirement is intended to provide a buffer zone, reducing the likelihood of water from the sprinkler system coming into contact with electrical components. Secondly, accessibility is another critical concern addressed by the National Electrical Code. Electrical panels and other equipment need to be readily accessible for inspection, maintenance, and repairs. This accessibility ensures that qualified personnel can safely and efficiently perform necessary tasks without obstruction. Sprinkler mains that impede access to electrical equipment can create a hazardous situation, delaying or preventing timely maintenance and potentially leading to more significant problems down the line. The installation of sprinkler systems should always be coordinated with the electrical layout of a building to avoid these types of conflicts. Building plans should be reviewed by both the electrical and fire protection professionals to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. In existing buildings, retrofitting a sprinkler system may require modifications to the electrical system to maintain proper clearances and accessibility. It is essential to engage qualified and licensed contractors who are familiar with both the electrical and fire protection codes to perform this work. When assessing potential code violations, it is important to consider the specific edition of the National Electrical Code that is in effect in the jurisdiction. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years, and each edition may contain revisions or additions that affect the requirements for sprinkler systems and electrical equipment. Local amendments to the National Electrical Code may also exist, so it is crucial to consult with local building officials to determine the applicable regulations. In addition to the National Electrical Code, other standards and guidelines may apply to the installation of sprinkler systems, such as those published by the National Fire Protection Association. These standards provide detailed requirements for the design, installation, and maintenance of sprinkler systems, including considerations for electrical safety. When evaluating a potential code violation involving sprinkler systems and electrical equipment, it is helpful to gather as much information as possible. This information may include building plans, electrical diagrams, and photographs of the installation. Consulting with a qualified electrical inspector or fire protection engineer can also provide valuable insights and guidance. If code violations are identified, it is essential to take prompt corrective action. This may involve relocating the sprinkler pipes or heads, modifying the electrical equipment, or implementing other measures to ensure compliance with the applicable codes and standards. Failure to correct code violations can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. More importantly, it can create a safety hazard that puts occupants at risk. In summary, the presence of sprinkler pipes and heads over electrical panels and sprinkler mains interfering with clear access to electrical equipment are potential code violations that should be addressed promptly. Compliance with the National Electrical Code and other applicable standards is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems and fire protection systems. Always consult with qualified professionals and local building officials to ensure that all installations meet the necessary requirements. Electrical panels should be kept clear of any obstruction that could either damage them or prevent safe access. This includes not only sprinkler systems but also storage equipment and other physical barriers. The working space around electrical equipment is defined by the National Electrical Code in Article 110.26 and specifies minimum distances and clearances that must be maintained. These clearances vary depending on the voltage of the equipment and the presence of exposed live parts. The intent of these requirements is to provide sufficient space for electricians and other qualified personnel to safely work on the equipment without being exposed to electrical hazards. Proper lighting is also important for safe access to electrical equipment. The National Electrical Code requires that sufficient illumination be provided in working spaces around electrical equipment. This lighting should be adequate to allow personnel to clearly see the equipment and any potential hazards. Regular inspections of electrical installations are essential for identifying and correcting potential code violations. These inspections should be performed by qualified electrical inspectors who are familiar with the National Electrical Code and local amendments. Any identified violations should be corrected promptly to ensure the safety and compliance of the installation. When making alterations or additions to existing electrical systems, it is important to ensure that the new work complies with the current edition of the National Electrical Code. This may involve upgrading existing equipment or wiring to meet the latest requirements. It is also important to obtain the necessary permits and approvals from local building officials before starting any electrical work. The National Electrical Code provides detailed requirements for the installation of electrical equipment in various types of locations, including wet locations, damp locations, and hazardous locations. These requirements are designed to protect electrical equipment from environmental factors that could cause damage or create a safety hazard. It is important to select and install electrical equipment that is suitable for the specific location in which it will be used. Grounding is an essential safety measure that helps to protect against electrical shock. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment be properly grounded to provide a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source. This grounding system should be regularly inspected and tested to ensure that it is functioning properly. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. These devices should be properly sized and installed to interrupt the flow of current before it can cause damage or create a safety hazard. Regular testing of overcurrent protection devices is essential to ensure that they are functioning properly. Surge protection devices are designed to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges caused by lightning or other events. These devices should be installed at the service entrance and at other locations where sensitive equipment is located. Regular testing of surge protection devices is essential to ensure that they are functioning properly. Arc fault circuit interrupters are designed to detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. The National Electrical Code requires that arc fault circuit interrupters be installed in certain types of circuits, such as those that serve bedrooms. Regular testing of arc fault circuit interrupters is essential to ensure that they are functioning properly. Ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to detect ground faults, which can cause electrical shock. The National Electrical Code requires that ground fault circuit interrupters be installed in certain types of locations, such as bathrooms and kitchens. Regular testing of ground fault circuit interrupters is essential to ensure that they are functioning properly. Electrical safety training is essential for all personnel who work with or around electrical equipment. This training should cover the hazards of electricity, safe work practices, and the proper use of personal protective equipment. Regular refresher training is also important to ensure that personnel stay up to date on the latest safety procedures. Lockout/tagout procedures are used to prevent accidental energization of electrical equipment during maintenance or repair. These procedures involve disconnecting the equipment from its power source and placing a lock and tag on the disconnect switch to prevent it from being turned on. Strict adherence to lockout/tagout procedures is essential for preventing electrical accidents. Personal protective equipment, such as rubber gloves, safety glasses, and insulated tools, is used to protect personnel from electrical hazards. This equipment should be properly maintained and inspected before each use. It is important to select personal protective equipment that is appropriate for the specific task being performed. Electrical safety audits are conducted to identify potential electrical hazards and to assess compliance with electrical safety regulations. These audits should be performed by qualified electrical safety professionals. The findings of electrical safety audits should be used to develop and implement corrective actions to improve electrical safety. Electrical safety programs are comprehensive plans that outline the policies, procedures, and training requirements for electrical safety. These programs should be tailored to the specific needs of the organization. Regular review and updating of electrical safety programs is essential to ensure that they remain effective. Compliance with electrical safety regulations is essential for protecting workers and the public from electrical hazards. These regulations are enforced by government agencies and may vary depending on the location. Failure to comply with electrical safety regulations can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. The presence of a sprinkler head directly above an electrical panel presents multiple potential issues. Firstly, it violates the principle of keeping electrical equipment free from potential physical damage. A leak, accidental discharge, or even condensation from the sprinkler head could introduce water into the electrical panel, leading to corrosion, short circuits, and equipment failure. Secondly, such a placement hinders safe access for maintenance and repairs. Electricians need unobstructed access to the panel to perform their work safely and efficiently. The presence of the sprinkler head could impede their movement, increase the risk of accidental contact with energized parts, and make it difficult to use tools and equipment. Thirdly, it disregards the required working clearances around electrical equipment as mandated by the National Electrical Code. These clearances are designed to provide adequate space for electricians to work safely and prevent accidental contact with energized parts. A sprinkler head positioned directly above the panel reduces this working space and increases the risk of electrical hazards. Moreover, the presence of sprinkler mains that interfere with clear access to the room containing the electrical panel is also a significant code violation. The National Electrical Code emphasizes the importance of maintaining clear and unobstructed access to electrical equipment for inspection, maintenance, and repair. This access ensures that qualified personnel can safely and efficiently perform necessary tasks without being hindered by obstacles. Sprinkler mains that block or impede access to the room containing the electrical panel create a hazardous situation, delaying or preventing timely maintenance and potentially leading to more significant electrical problems. The corrective actions for these code violations would involve relocating either the sprinkler system components or the electrical panel to achieve proper clearances and accessibility. This relocation should be performed by qualified and licensed professionals who are familiar with both electrical and fire protection codes. They would assess the situation, develop a plan that complies with all applicable codes and standards, and execute the work safely and efficiently. In addition to the physical relocation, it's essential to conduct a thorough inspection of the electrical panel and the surrounding area to identify any damage or deterioration caused by the sprinkler system's proximity. Any damaged components should be repaired or replaced to ensure the electrical system's integrity and safety. Furthermore, it's crucial to update the building's electrical diagrams and documentation to reflect the changes made to the electrical system and the sprinkler system. This updated documentation will help future maintenance personnel and inspectors understand the configuration of the systems and ensure continued compliance with codes and standards. The cost of correcting these code violations can vary depending on the extent of the work required. Factors such as the complexity of the relocation, the need for new materials, and the labor costs of qualified professionals will influence the overall expense. However, the cost of correcting these violations is far less than the potential cost of an electrical fire or injury caused by non-compliance. Prioritizing electrical safety and code compliance is essential for protecting occupants, preventing property damage, and ensuring the long-term reliability of the electrical system. Neglecting these aspects can have severe consequences and should be avoided at all costs. When addressing electrical code violations, it's crucial to involve all stakeholders in the process. This includes building owners, property managers, tenants, and qualified professionals such as electricians, fire protection engineers, and building inspectors. Collaboration and communication among these stakeholders are essential for ensuring that the corrective actions are effective and that all concerns are addressed. A proactive approach to electrical safety is always the best strategy. Regular inspections, maintenance, and upgrades can help prevent code violations from occurring in the first place. By staying informed about the latest codes and standards and by working with qualified professionals, building owners and property managers can create a safe and compliant electrical environment for their occupants. In older buildings, electrical systems may not meet current code requirements. Upgrading these systems can be a significant undertaking, but it is essential for ensuring the safety of occupants and preventing electrical hazards. Upgrades may include replacing old wiring, installing new overcurrent protection devices, and improving grounding systems. The National Electrical Code specifies different requirements for new construction and existing buildings. When making alterations or additions to existing buildings, it is important to ensure that the new work complies with the current edition of the National Electrical Code, while also taking into account the existing conditions of the building. Electrical systems should be inspected regularly by qualified professionals to identify potential hazards and ensure compliance with codes and standards. These inspections should include visual examinations, testing of equipment, and review of documentation. Any identified deficiencies should be corrected promptly. The National Electrical Code provides detailed requirements for the installation of electrical equipment in hazardous locations, such as areas where flammable gases or vapors are present. These requirements are designed to prevent explosions and fires. It is important to select and install electrical equipment that is specifically designed for use in hazardous locations. The use of extension cords and flexible cords should be limited, as they can be a source of electrical hazards. Extension cords should only be used for temporary applications and should be properly sized for the load they are carrying. Flexible cords should not be used as a substitute for permanent wiring. Electrical equipment should be properly labeled with its voltage, amperage, and other important information. This labeling helps to ensure that the equipment is used safely and that it is properly maintained. Electrical equipment should be protected from physical damage. This may involve installing barriers or guards to prevent accidental contact. Electrical equipment should be kept clean and free from dust, dirt, and other debris. This helps to prevent overheating and other problems. Electrical equipment should be properly ventilated to prevent overheating. This may involve installing fans or other ventilation equipment. Electrical equipment should be inspected regularly for signs of wear and tear. Any damaged or worn parts should be replaced promptly. Electrical equipment should be maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. This helps to ensure that the equipment operates safely and efficiently.